Hey everyone, Mr. Wineland here, going over section 1 of Roman Republic. We're going to talk about Rome. We're going to get into, in chapter 6, talking about this place right here, Italy. Rome, at this time, if we go a little bit scanning in here, you can see this is Rome. And this was only Rome, but eventually the Roman Empire is going to build all across Italy. And we're going to see eventually all across Europe and into Asia. If you look here closely, we're going to talk a little bit about the Latins, which are in Rome. The Etruscans were up north. Also, the Latins were in this area too. The Greeks in this area, and then Carthaginians, which challenged most of Rome. We're only going to do half of this notes. I have another video for part 2, so be tuning in for that. Have you ever heard all roads lead to Rome? Rome was not built in a day. When in Rome, these are all kind of modern catch poppy phrases that we get because of the Roman society. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Answer number 1 is everything in yellow. Think about Italy and its geography. It's got a lot of peninsula. It's got a lot of mountains. It's got some valleys. It's got a little bit of farmland. Also, it's near the sea, the Mediterranean Sea. So it lies halfway between the eastern and western boundaries of the sea and is protected by the mountains and the sea. So it's really pretty well protected based on the boundaries, the elements. It has very rich soil, mild climate. If you see again, you got a lot of mountains here right in this area, and then you've got the Mediterranean Sea, and then you've got even a little bit of that Tyrrhenian Sea right there. So what we know about Rome is that there is a legend about who founded Rome, and it's Romulus and Remus. They're twin brothers raised by a she-wolf, founded the city in 753 BC. Yes, I know it kind of sounds ridiculous, but again, this is their culture. This is what they believed. So we believe that they might have been members of the Indo-European tribe. Remember, we talked a little bit about this. These are groups of people in Europe that eventually wandered throughout all Europe, just settled in. They may have been the Latins who reached in 1000 BC, built Rome. City prospered partly due to the location of the Tiber River, valued trade routes. Then there's the Etruscans, which were up north, first ruled by Latin kings. The Etruscan rule was right around 600 BC. They, like I said, came up north. Evidence found cemeteries indicating indicating Etruscans' great metalworkers, jewelers. Etruscan culture was heavily influenced by Greeks. Etruscans had great influence in Roman society as well. The Etruscans all ruled Rome up until about 509 BC. Romans had revolted throughout the last set of kings and set up a new type of government, which was which elected officials governed states. So this is your definition for republic: elected officials govern state. Started right in Rome about 509 BC. Excuse me, goodness. I'm up late watching the election stuff, so I'm kind of getting a little tired here, but I'm hanging in. So, all right. So we've got the patricians, early days, heads of the few aristocratic families. These were some of your elected officials, the patricians. Patrician families controlled all of society, politics, religion, economics, military, maintained a lot of power through patronage system, which wealthy Romans provided financial, social, legal support for lower ranking families return to political loyalty. The plebeians, however, were your common people. So if the patricians were the higher ups, your officials, then the plebeians were your lower class. Invaders threatened in 494 BC. And the plebeians refused to challenge or help out the patricians, and so the patricians had to go and because they had no army, they had to go plead to the plebeians for for them to fight for them, and that's when the plebeians were able to fight for their rights. And we see the plebeians form their own assembly, which was known as the plebeian council. And so once they crushed those opponents, they were able to set up all this stuff afterwards, gaining the right to elect officials known as tribunes. Tribune's job was to protect against unjust treatment by patrician officials and gained right to veto banning laws seemed harmful and unjust. Your answer to number 3 is right here in the yellow. So the laws in 450 BC, plebeians forced patricians to have all laws written down. Laws were displayed in Roman form. Central Square, where 12 large tablets were going to be displayed of the laws. The reason why they posted this was to protect their freedom, that the patricians did not make up any sort of new laws. That the patrician judges, would not come up with their own opinions, their own secret laws, and that everything was out in the open. One new law was banning marriage between patricians and plebeians. So this may be part of the reason why you have Romeo and Juliet. So, as far as the Republican government, patrician plebeians worked out practical constitution, kind of giving offices to both sides in the government. Consisted of 3 parts: Senate, popular assemblies, magistrates. Initially dominated by patricians, all state offices were later open to both patricians and plebeians. The Senate was made up of 300 members, advised elected officials, controlled public finances, handled all foreign relations, popular assemblies. In these, all citizens voted on laws, as well as elected officials. Magistrates governed in the name of the Senate, and people, but put laws into practice and acted as priests. This is very similar to that of the Greeks, but there's a little bit of some changes. When the last king was thrown out in place, 2 magistrates were called councils, which is that they were elected 1 year, chief executives, army commanders that can help control some of the government. Then there were censors. We see that next most important were the councils were censors, recorded wealth, residents, population, and filled that vacancies in the Senate. And then you had praetors, which were primarily judges who were able to act for the councils and away from war. After the turbinated given military command, excuse me, they'd be appointed by provisional governors. So, all right, and then the government worked well because of system of checks and balances. Not each side had had all the power. So it's kind of like our system of government. You have the executive, legislative, and um, judicial. And so you can see here's elected magistrates, senates, assemblies, and tribunes. So you can see they ran the city's daily affairs, led the army, issued edicts, acted as judges, but they could magistrates presided over Senate, so they but the Senate controlled finances and controlled foreign relations, reviewed proposed laws, and advised magistrates. And Senate could actually refuse magistrates money. So there's some back and forth there. Tribunes, basically elected magistrates, approved laws, tried court cases, and declared war. So, and then tribunes could veto officials' actions, and then assemblies could reject laws approved by the Senate. So there's some back and forth by everyone. All right, that's going to do it for part 1. We're going to talk about part 2, life in the Republic. So be looking out for that video.